Now let's have a see if that works. Let's have a see if you guys can hear me. And if that is in fact the case, then it's good. How's everybody doing tonight? Late confirmation on going live with this tonight. And the reason for that is I had a number of things on this weekend, and I haven't managed to really get as many things in place as I wanted to due to other commitments, which was a bit annoying. Felt like things were going sideways, so I very nearly knocked it on the head and put it on another day. I nearly scheduled it for tomorrow, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to check in with people anyway. Ivan Koslik, how you doing, mate? How you doing, brother? Phil Woody, ever present. Hiya, brother. How are you doing? Super chatted as well. Hiya, mate. Thank you for that. Hope everybody's well. Tell me I'm the gayest. Let's go. Top roll one, lightweight. And Nathan is in there. How are you doing, mate? Hope you're well. I'm not great this week, Nathan. I think it's been a poor week, if I'm honest. Down on 193, 98. Evening, Mr. Fat Up. Only your mum calls me that. I hope you're well, mate. Ranks on. Neil, do we invite anyone today? Yes, I think Rowley will be invited. We may have. I'm not going to stay on long today, guys. I will give you a heads up on that. I'm absolutely knackered. I was in bed early hours of the morning last night, due to being on another event, and I'm absolutely shot to bits. Knackered, as you can probably hear, your voice shot to bits. But this time of year is always like that for me. Sort of August, September is always stupid busy. I don't know whether you guys in your work have certain times of year that are just ridiculous. Well, sort of August, September, October, in what I do, wow, crazy, absolutely crazy, and you're all over the place. So it's completely and utterly knackering, and it's one of the big problems, really. Just absolutely destroys you. Um, and I don't know, been on a bit of a low ebb this week. I definitely have, and it's funny. I spoke to three who will remain nameless. Spoke to three separate people this week who were, yeah, big name arm wrestlers, and they were sort of on a downer. Said they lost a bit of the buzz, lost some of the enthusiasm, and that was hard to hear, if I'm honest. Hopefully, you guys are feeling a little better. What it did do is make me feel like I need to get on here and speak to everybody. Just get on, say hello, and find out how people are doing. And hopefully, you're feeling a little bit more upbeat than I am. That is the main thing. XMW McGregor, how is your friend Engin? I have no idea. Engin, I haven't spoken to in a few weeks. Um, you tell me, how is he, mate? You may know more about it than I have. I haven't spoke to Engin in a good few weeks now. I expect that he is probably at the WAF Worlds, which are going on now. As are a number of arm wrestlers, I expect. It's a massive event. Over in Bulgaria, I expect it's really big, actually. Bulgaria is kind of an arm wrestling hub, for those who don't know. Let's have a little look. Yeah, sorry, just getting some messages in there from a couple of followers as well. Too smooth, how you doing, mate? Nathan, been wrecked, been watching Worlds. Just let us know in the chat how many of you guys have been watching a lot of the WAF Worlds. Because at the moment, I haven't managed to watch hardly any. Well, I say that, I have, but it's been sporadic. So I'm in a reception somewhere, waiting to go into a meeting or waiting to go do a voiceover or something like that. and I've literally been like looking at my phone, checking out matches. Not really, no sound, so not really getting an opportunity to do a great deal with it, to understand a great deal. Ryan the Bull Belanger, how you doing, mate? What's up, champ? Hope you're doing well. Adam Wojcinski representing 85 class at World, mate. That'll be interesting. Super strong guy, Adam. I hope he does well over there. I haven't had a chance to have a look at the starting lists yet, so that'll be very interesting. You look knackered as an old bird's knickers. USS Liberty. Thank you for your super chat. I am knackered, mate. I'm absolutely knackered. We had the Giants live last week, and I fairly went for it. Big weekender. Uh, Lost my voice. Was on it till stupid late, as we usually are at those events. And then I was up really early because I had to get back early for the next morning. So I had probably, I don't know, maybe 3, 4 hours sleep, something like that. Not a lot. And I was completely and utterly knackered. So you find yourself sort of chasing your tail a little bit. I haven't really recovered. And last night was similar. I had a stupidly little amount of sleep. But in the grand scheme of things this week, I've been all right, mate. Some of the stuff that's been going on around the world, wow. Wow. I mean, I did a live the other night, went on for a couple of hours, and it was the night that Charlie Kirk got shot. I mean, that's horrendous, utterly horrendous that a man of I think 31 years of age gets killed in front of his family, shot for political beliefs. I don't care what your political beliefs are. Killing someone, shooting someone because you don't agree with them politically. Come on, what is it? What's going on? The Ukrainian lady that was stabbed on the train in the USA. I saw that video. A friend of mine had that on video. Saw that. My God. My God. That was utterly horrendous. One of the worst things you could possibly see. Ricky Hatton, boxing legend, found dead in his home this morning. So it's just been, I don't know, it's been a depressing week in many ways. Not a lot to celebrate this week. It's been just a crazy, weird, disjointed week, and I'm sure a lot of people probably feel a little bit deflated at the moment. Not a great deal been going on in the sort of world of professional arm wrestling. A lot going on, obviously, with the WAF. If you're one of the guys that's over there competing at the WAF, yeah, you'll be pretty on it. There's no doubt about that. Hell of a event, the WAF. For anybody who's not been over there, WAF Worlds. Give you a little bit of background for anybody new. The WAF Worlds is the oldest regulatory international event in the world, and to be honest, it's the hardest event in the world as well to win. And by that I mean people will have heard me talk on here a lot about the fact that supermatch arm wrestling, which I was very much at the sharp end of creating and implementing, are a different sport to main draw, international, highly regulated arm wrestling. They're just different sports. It's as simple as that. They're different sports for a number of reasons. The way that you contest the matches, the way that you prep for the matches, the marketing behind the matches, and a myriad of other things make them completely different sports. So you can be a specialist in one or other. And that's very, very evident for anybody that's competed in supermatch arm wrestling at a high level and who's competed in the WAF. They suit very different types of arm wrestler. One thing that is very interesting is the fact that we're seeing so many new arm wrestlers coming through is fantastic, number one. And he's also, I would say it's going to make the events a little bit more challenging. It's probably going to make the events longer. I think this event's taking somewhere around 10 days. If anybody in the chat's been on the schedule and can verify that, I want to say I looked at it a couple of months ago, and I think it was about 10 days in totality. So very, very long event. Krieger Wickeland from Sweden. If you're not sub to Krieger Wickeland, he's one of the hardcore. Get over and sub to that guy. Love him. SATV. Almost Iron House, the place to be, mate. We've got another one coming, hopefully early November. and we're looking at putting together some mega matches there and getting some good stuff in there from a guest perspective on a Titan house. So yeah, going back to what I was saying with the WAF Worlds, it is, what's the right way of saying it? Kind of like the foundation, if you will. Foundation is kind of the right terminology to use. The foundation of the uh, grassroots amateur sport. The best guys in the world in the amateur divisions are definitely represented across all the weight classes. If you go to the WAF, the highest level there. I mean, even in the juniors, you've got guys pulling like Bacho Saganashvili, Tukbaridze, who many people will know from East versus West. I mean, Alex Koshadze, who was on the Arm Wars Iron House recently with Ray. And many, many, many more that are pulling over there that are extraordinarily high level arm wrestlers. They are professional arm wrestlers, but for this period of time, they're back in that main draw competition environment. Believe me, uh, I would say it's probably stiffer, harder to win at those competitions than it's ever been, and it will certainly get harder going forward. And I'll break that down as to why. It's not necessarily just a levels thing, it's a depth thing. There's so many athletes in the world right now, and I'm not talking about this specific show. I haven't looked at how many are in the classes here, and obviously it varies by class. But as the sport grows, as the sport starts to expand, you're going to see all the weight categories from the disabled to the masters, the juniors, seniors, whatever you want. They're all going to extend in terms of the number. And as I've said many times, I do think the depth of good arm wrestlers is increasing all the time. Um, going to make it harder, going to make it stiffer. Well, it's funny enough, I was speaking to Alexander Kushadze earlier today, and he had an incredible match with Kristaps Blumanis, and Kristaps is another extraordinarily experienced for his age, very, very strong, very, very complete arm wrestler who's got wins on massive names in the sport of arm wrestling. Kristaps Blumanis and Koshadze went at it at the Worlds. Remember, this is a main draw competition, so um, one of the problems there, one of the things that makes it very difficult is that you'll find these guys meet at whatever stage of the competition and beat the living daylights out of each other. They batter each other. So their chances then are shot full of holes in terms of being able to do something throughout the rest of the event. Um, that's what makes it a little bit more like the horse race that I was talking to Alex about. We call it the Grand National in the UK. It takes place at Aintree Racecourse. And what makes that so difficult, that horse race, is because the fences are so high. There's so many fences. It's so long. It makes it incredibly difficult, not only to win, but just to get round. And many, many great horses fall. Some have to be destroyed. It's a brutal, difficult race. And it is fair to say that not always the horses that are the purest win. The horse that wins sometime is the one who can navigate choppy waters, who can get over all those fences, who can stay on its feet, who can avoid other horses which have fallen. It really is a brutal encounter. And the WAF Worlds is kind of like that. It's like, let the bodies hit the floor. As soon as you go in there, you don't know who you're going to get. You could see Georgia and Kazakhstan first round, Russia, Ukraine first round. You don't know what's going to happen. It's an absolute fest of monsters. So the best arm wrestling nations, the strongest, most aggressively stacked classes in the world take place there. The best countries in the world: Turkey, Bulgaria, Kazakhstan, Georgia, Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, Latvia. and every other bloody nation you can think of, Uzbekistan. They're all there and they're all ready to beat the living daylights out of each other. So that is one hell of a competition to win, let me tell you now. It favors guys who are clinical finishers, fast finishers. You don't want to get embroiled in long death matches. You do not want to get tied up. You may be the strongest man in the class in a straight up battle for red line horsepower. However, unless you can finish fast, there's going to be a guy, there's going to be a girl in your class that is really close, and you get tied up with a couple of those rounds. Believe me, you're going home. And so many times you see throughout the classes, the male and the female classes, unbelievable wars from the get go. As soon as the thing drops, you're straight into screamers. There are people who manage to do well by being incredibly good endurance-based pullers. There are others that are flash pin specialists that blitz people quick. There are many routes to the top, but don't underestimate it. It's some mountain to climb, I tell you. You get a win at WAF Worlds, you get on the podium at WAF Worlds, you're done very well. I'm very, very proud of the fact that I was on the podium at the WAF Worlds for, I think, 14 or 15 years consecutively. I was never off. So pretty solid place to go and arm wrestle. You want to go and test yourself, get yourself out to the WAF Worlds. Very, very solid. Let's have a look. USS Liberty. Never forget. Thank you for your super chat, brother. Appreciate it. But did you watch Arm Gods today? Is UK arm wrestling growing? I didn't, mate. I have been working throughout this weekend. Absolutely solid. I have not watched that. The only time I had off working, I was watching my eldest son play football. So I didn't get a chance to see that. Hopefully, their event went very well. And is UK arm wrestling growing? Depends when. UK arm wrestling has been large, then smaller, then large, then smaller. It's ebbed and it's flowed, depending. Um, I think arm wrestling globally is growing. I think the interest in arm wrestling globally is growing. So you'd have to say probably yes. And I certainly hope so. We shall see. Let's have a look. Irakli, Neil, do you know of Yurson? You know what? Not really, mate, but I have started noticing him. I have started noticing him. Never met the guy, but I've started noticing. Yeah, mate, he's there's so many good arm wrestlers out there. So many bloody good arm wrestlers. So many good young arm wrestlers that are coming through, and masters, weirdly enough. So new guys coming on your radar all the time, and I do like to watch the WAF Worlds because of that, because you'll pick up not only pullers but matches. It's good for sort of spotting guys and their style and so on. So yeah, so Mirambek, yeah, unbelievably strong, but I don't know. You're saying well. I've not met the guy. Well, have I met him? Have I met him? Maybe I have met him, but I don't know him. So, not someone I've conversed with, know really anything about. But solid as balls, mate. There's some really good arm wrestlers out there. Let's have a look. Oh, we just had a super chat come from Phil Woody UK. Phil, how you doing, mate? And thanks for that super chat. But trip down memory lane, please. Island Law. You got a pin on the monster right arm. Please describe how the match played out. Yeah, basically, really easy. I'd actually retired from arm wrestling at Island Law. I was not supposed to be arm wrestling there. We had a couple of arm wrestlers that got sick while they were there. There was a battleground going on. One of the arm wrestlers that was involved in that had to pull out. I was the only guy that was near to that weight class, so I stepped in. Had no intention of arm wrestling there at all. Didn't want to arm wrestle there at all. I ended up arm wrestling more than anyone there that weekend. I actually arm wrestled in the battleground, or baby battleground as it was, Four Manor. I pulled in the first round of that. I pulled Ryan Clark on the left arm. I also pulled Nino Salvatore, Spanish national champion, right and left. He was my first match of the day, right and left. Then I pulled Ryan Clark left-handed. lucky enough to get through that. Michael Todd pulled hit the first round of the battleground. Myself and Mike met in the final, had a stupid war. Pretty sure Mike's arm broke. In fact, no, it did. He denied it at the time. I was pretty sure his arm was broken. Michael's a nutcase. Yeah, everybody saw what went down there. Scary stuff. Michael went home and had serious damage to his arm. And then it broke, pulling Wagner Bortolato not long after that. Right arm. Um, what can I tell you? Mike felt great. I would have liked to. My record against Michael on the right arm in previous encounters was solid. I think me and Mike at that time would have been fun if I'd had a lot more training. Michael then went to a different place. He went much bigger, incredibly strong, and obviously now you can see Mike is one of the best super heavyweights in the world. Um, Michael now is probably capable of beating anybody up to the top five in the world if you give him you put Mike in there with anybody right now, and he is no fun. Michael is a very difficult man to beat when he's on his game. The fact that he mixed it up recently with Vitaly Laletin, with Ermas Gasparini, dude's an absolute beast. Michael's best years, Phil, for me, were actually when he was a younger man and he was not as beaten up, not as damaged. His elbows weren't smashed. And why is because he's very defensively based, but he was also bloody entertaining, mate. It's just entertaining to watch. He was fearless. He was young. He was heart on your sleeve. And he was very confident, good looking lad. Very brave. Would pull anywhere, anyone. Still does that, actually. He'll still pull anyone now. I mean, he's the guy that wants to pull Levan Saganashvili now. Nobody else really wants that match. Mike does. Mike wants it tonight. He'd take it any time. So I don't care whether you love Mike, hate Mike, you're whatever. Michael's been my friend for a lot of years. He's a very complex lad. If he shows up and he's on his game, man takes some beating. If he gets a sniff of blood in the water, believe me, he's a strong lad. Very strong lad, Mike. And the dude doesn't stop. Never gives up. CB Rogan, yeah, R.I.P. the Hitman. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Tragic news that. Ricky Hatton, yeah, what a lovely bloke. What a everyman fella that was, and what a warrior. If you're not familiar with Ricky Hatton, go back watch Ricky Hatton fights. Jesus, talk about heart on your sleeve. Talk about go out on your shield, mate. That guy got into some scraps, and I loved watching him box. He was all action. He was all front foot, and I don't know the details of Ricky's passing. I know he was only 46 years of age. I know he liked to drink and so on. I can only assume that it was probably something like a heart attack, but I don't know. If anybody does know that, put it in the chat. I don't know the details of it yet. I haven't had a chance, I say, to look at the news, look at social media, but whatever the reason for that, what a devastating loss to boxing and to British sport. What a legendary figure. Yeah, grew up watching that guy. Fellow was in battles. Really enjoyed watching Ricky Hatton fight. He's only sort of 6 years younger than myself. So yeah, I watched Ricky's fights. He's from Manchester, only an hour and a bit from myself. Um, got in some tear ups, mate. He got in some tear ups. So very saddened, genuinely shocked, genuinely sad to hear that Ricky Hatton has passed away. And my uh, deepest sympathies go out to Ricky's family and friends. Some of whom I know actually. So yeah, terrible loss. Terrible loss. Uh, Phil, just got your chat there, mate, but I can't actually see a question. Oh, it's just put thank. No worries, buddy. No worries. Let's have a look. I'll try and skim through and just see if we've got any more questions in there. Yeah, actually, it's true. Nobody does want to face Levan, but Michael was talking about that match, mate, when we were coming back from his loss to Eris. That's Michael's mindset. He doesn't give a shit about winning or losing. He will never stop. He wants to reach the pinnacle of the sport. Whether he will reach the pinnacle of the sport or not, um, going forward, who knows? But if you don't recognize the heart of a warrior in that kid, I don't know what to tell you. Doesn't back down from anything. If you chart back Michael Todd's career, he has been in some unbelievably entertaining wars. Unbelievable matches, screamers, you know? And it'd be very, very interesting if he just got a shot at LeBron. If they just, if you know, if Levin Sagasvili woke up one day and said, you know, I'll pull him, let's go, and they just put it on, I'd actually really enjoy seeing it just to see how it'd go down. Of course, Levin would start as a massive favourite. Of course he would. I think he starts a favourite against anyone he arm wrestles right now. But it's always nice to see an X Factor arm wrestler like Mike get into a match. And I'd be up for it. Oh, Arm Historian. If you're not sub to him, get over, check out Arm Historian. Does some wonderful stuff over on his channel. Another of the guys that's a real stayer. It's interesting. I always try to catch Arm Historian's channel on I was in the car tonight and he was on. Stopped at the lights and put a little message in there. But yeah, Arm Historian, check him out. Done some wonderful stuff there, historical stuff, and tries to cover things with honesty and integrity. New guy learning the sport, but he seems a very decent man. I've never met him, but spoke and conversed many times online. And one of the guys that's valuable to the sport. So it'd be really good if you give him some love also. Rodney Hickman. Neil, you're obviously well traveled. Do you have a few favorite cities you enjoy visiting? Mate, I there are so many. Rodney, I think often you enjoy places because of the experience you have there. So I've been in some cities which might not necessarily appear as aesthetically pleasing, but one of the main benefits with arm wrestling is that you get so many genuine friends all over the world, and sometimes they will literally show you around their home. One that was very touching for me was one of the guys who I consider an all-time arm wrestling great, Lorenzo Villar from Spain. We were at the Arnold Classic Madrid, and at the Arnold Classic Madrid, when we finished the show, he said, "Look, Neil, tonight your dad, and some of the guys, if you want to come out, I'd love to have the opportunity when myself and my wife take you out and show you how we, the Spanish, live and what we do and how we go out and how we what we do when we go out at nights." And it was more cultural, mate, you know. So he took us out. He took us to the Museum of Ham. We went to all the little bars, had a glass of wine at some of those, and little sort of tapas style food. Oh, it was mega. It was wonderful. And I've had so many experiences like that. When we went to Brazil, where I was little bit on edge because it's, you know, you hear all the horror stories about it being quite a dangerous place. I had nothing but great times there. The people were lovely to me. They were very friendly. They were very welcoming. So I had a wonderful time there. In terms of just cities I love, I'm a massive fan of Edinburgh in Scotland. I just love Edinburgh. I think it's beautiful, and I really enjoy that. I love areas of the United States which are stunning. Monterey is beautiful over there. Um, Always loved that. I like some areas of Texas a great deal as well. Don't know why. Just love it. But my God, mate, I could go on and on. I could go on and on. We went to going to Onitsovitsa in Bulgaria, where the world's are now, and a very good friend of mine, Svetan Gashevsky, took us out there for his anniversary dinner, and that was kind of cool as well. We had a lot of the arm wrestlers that we'd arm wrestled with and competed against for many years, all out, just having some food and some fun, and that was great also. But mate, I could go on and on and on and on about different cities and different places around the world. and some of the truly wonderful people that are in the sport of arm wrestling. It's really, it's really interesting because um, you read some of the comments sometimes, and there's a lot of, I know people love drama, and they love to have to create the fights and the drama and the problems. Very, very, very few times in my life have I ever had problems or trouble with guys anywhere in the world. Honestly, very few. I can count on um, a couple of fingers, really, two, three fingers, guys that I don't really like and I don't get on with in the world. Don't have many guys that I don't like. Don't have many guys I've got a real problem with. Uh, yeah, not many. There's a few, and I think they're documented. And I've had run-ins with people because I do speak my mind on things, and that upsets people. There's some irony there, but we don't need to dwell on that. Very, very topical. But um, yeah, the only thing I would say is in my experience, there's a lot more good people in this game than there is bad, and there's a lot more good people in strength sports than there is bad, and strongman's the same, and so many wonderful people in strongman, so many great approachable people in strongman, and I feel very fortunate to be involved in it. Um, let's have a look. Sebagos with a super chat. Now Engen is gone. Will we ever see Svetan at East versus West? Not a clue, mate. Um, I have no idea. Genuinely no idea. Svetan, as far as I'm aware, and I'm not on the inside track of exactly what the situation is, but I think that there is some problem with Svetan and the Bulgarian Federation. Um, some political issue over there, the details of which you would have to find out from somebody in Bulgaria. E EBW is affiliated or recognized by and affiliated to supportive of World Arm Wrestling Federation. World Arm Wrestling Federation, there is some political issue with Svetlana Gashevsky, and I think that has been a block. That's my understanding of it. May not be correct, but I don't know. Not my area of expertise, if you will. I don't know the specifics of the issues that happened with Svetan and Bulgaria. Don't know. I'm sure Svetan could explain it, or some of the Bulgarians. Oh, there you go. Sebagels, he's banned by WAF right now. But so are the Georgians. So are the Georgians. The Georgians can't be banned, mate. I haven't watched a lot of the WAF, but I am certain that I watched Tudbaridze today, and I'm certain I watched Baccio. And I mean, I'm certain. I'm talking today. There was a shitload of Georgians pulling today. Am I nuts? I'm sure I watched Georgians today, Sebagels. Unless I'm a complete penis and I was watching some old stuff, but I thought I was watching the WAP live today. For real. I thought I watched Baccio Saganashvili and a Italian kid. And Baccio decimated this Italian kid. I watched Tut Baridze I watched the heavyweights with a Kazakhstani guy, Georgian. Am I fucking nuts? Wait a minute. Sorry, I gotta find out. Am I a frigging lunatic? And if I am, my God, how embarrassing. I've been watching the wrong stuff. View history. There we go. Yeah, 2025 World Championships. Turn the volume down. Through. Georgia. Yeah, Bacho Saganashvili, right here, pulling it. That is right. Georgians are definitely at WAF Worlds and in force. Hmm. So I don't know what's going on there, but the Georgians are at WAF Worlds, so they've resolved it somehow. Let me have a look what the chat says now. Yeah, and Nathan's just saying the same. Yeah, Georgians are definitely there. I know. Yeah, you watched Georgia. Thanks for verifying. Mild panic attack there. Um, that was not last year. Jodimus Prime. No, it wasn't, mate. That was today. And yesterday, actually. Will the UK go to WAF soon? Anyone from the UK can go to WAF, mate. Um, yeah, there's some guys that attended IFA, but no problem with the WAF that I'm aware of. Outside of those people that went to IFA, if they've been banned by WAF, I don't personally attend either of those events at the moment. Obviously, I'm retired from arm wrestling, hence all the magnetic spangles on my wrist to stop my wrist from being knackered, and that's when I'm walking around doing nothing. But yeah, I don't know that there's any problem for any UK guys and the WAF. So any top class, Tom Holland, for example, could he go to WAF Worlds? Yes, absolutely. And I think he'd do very well. I think there's others that would too. Whether he wants to, different thing. Obviously, Tom likes to pull professional arm wrestling. As I said earlier, kind of a different sport, kind of a different thing. Let's have a look. What do we got? 33 3D worldwide 333. Cousin, how you doing, mate? Does WAF drug test? Asking for a friend. Yeah, it does. WAF. I've been drug tested at WAF a couple of times. 6 or 7 times actually. Basically, if you're on the podium or you do well there, you go up to, or this is how it was with me, you go up to a desk after you get off the podium. Uh, they take you up to a desk. They have a series of cards on the desk. You turn over a card. If the card is positive, you go and have a piss test backstage. Um, I've done that numerous times at Worlds. Got off the podium, literally gone, had a drug test. Yeah, numerous times. So yes, they do. They also do, and again, it's been a while, but they also do some random testing. So I think you can be just pulled, just we think you're potentially an athlete that is at risk. So yes, they do drug test. Orlando, is he able to compete under UK in WAF? Or is it a neutral athlete? No, he can compete under UK, mate. He can compete under UK. So only athletes, BAF, British Arm Wrestling Federation, are recognised by WAF. We have not attended WAF for a few years, but I'm personally 100% supportive of World Arm Wrestling Federation, and I always will be in that respect because I love high level competition. I don't like my approach to it. Honestly, I don't like the whole you can't compete here, you can't compete there. I think it's kind of a shame for arm wrestling because we are a sport where you should be able to just compete. The athletes should just be able to compete wherever they want, in my opinion. If you want to go there, go there. That's what I would like to see. That won't happen, but I would like to. Nathan, Neil, Diva Dubois, 50 kilo girl from Turkey, is a force. Mate, there are so many friggin' watching today, just watching little bits when I was in reception and getting ready to go into the VO. There's some unbelievable talents coming up. There was a Moldovan kid, won what weight class? I don't want to say it was like the sub junior 85s or 90s. He was solid as well. A Canadian lad who was doing well, lost to a Kazakh, but he's in the final. Young kid from Canada going really well. There was a number of guys that I noticed today and thought, really stout, really solid. Uh, Lagia, Svetan being 55 and not allowed to compete at East versus West is simply a crime. Svetan's a beast. Svetan Gashevsky not only is arguably one of the greatest technical arm wrestlers of all time, in my opinion, um, he is a, now, today, a handful at his weight. I mean, the man is strong as. Yeah, he is so powerful. So, problem for a lot of people. Got a really good open top roll. When he was a young man, Svetan, pull anywhere you want. Pull with his wrist gone, pull in a hook, unbelievably strong in a hook. Had great endurance characteristics, blisteringly quick. Could do it all. Not the best levers in the game. In my opinion, one of the strongest, what's the right way of saying it? One of the strongest and most complete is the right way of saying it. Technical games ever in the sport of arm wrestling at any weight. That's Vetsangushevsky. Um, oh, the questions there on the private line as well. Maximus, funnily enough, yes. And there's some merchandise just gone up. First of all, let me just address that a little bit more. So, Maximus, just to come back to you on the private line question there, merchandise stuff is being addressed in more ways than we've ever done before. We have a website under construction now, which will be probably quite interesting in that it'll be two tiers. So it will cut across Supernatural Strength, i.e., this channel, and also Arm Wars. Under construction, that will hopefully touch a lot of wood, be finished up and running and fully on board by Christmas is the plan. We're going to have a load of merch on there, guys. There's going to be a core selection of merch, hats, mugs, other bits of promotional stuff. Garments, we will have some classical standard tees for the Arm Wars collection, some Supernatural Strength stuff. The one you've asked about there, actually, yeah, Danny flew at the dad, all the Danny stuff, Mickey Take stuff we'll put on there. And we'll also put the Bad Mother Fluffer stuff on there. We'll put the Deep Inside, all that stuff will be available for you. So it's coming, guys. And if you go over right now for a start, if you're an Arm Wars YouTube channel member and you go to the Arm Wars YouTube channel and you go to the members area and look in the community chat page, there's loads of links on there where you get £5 off. I mean, it's only like £7 a month. You get £5 off anything you purchase on there. So it's well worth a look being an Arm Wars YouTube channel member. It pays back in so many ways. But that on everything, on the hats, on the shirts, on the exclusive stuff. We also have some of the merch, which is also in the link for non-channel members on Supernatural Strength, and there's loads of different designs. And what I will tell you is those friggin' Desert Storm ones, that is a badass looking shirt. Let me tell you right now. Those Desert Storm ones are the nuts. They are cool as frig. Because I got a couple of them the other day, and yeah, I love them. They are mint. Absolutely mega. Super comfortable. The breathable fabric. They're great. And the other one that's really nice is the sort of like sandstone and brown two-tone ones. They're cool. The established 92 shirt. They're mint as well. So some really good stuff. And the quad we're actually changing the provider uh probably around November. And some of the quality that's coming out of this new company are absolute mint. But keep your eyes on the website, guys, and all that will be there. Hopefully, Maximus that answers your question. I will probably do some more on that. What else have we got? Andy Beckett, how you doing, mate? You all right? Hope you are good. What have I missed? Yeah, a lot of love for Svetan out there. I'm sure Svetan will remain active. Svetan's an absolute beast. Super strong. All those guys are. It's funny, isn't it? One topic I'm going to do something on. And, Henry is in the chat as well. All right. Oh, you're all right, Henry? Get over there and sub to Henry if you're able to do so as well. He's a good kid. We have a lot of banter, but I like Henry. He's a good lad. Um, he always wants to bet me, Henry. He wants to bet on everything. He loves a bet. Oh, Henry. Ooh, on the private line there, Goshawan. Is that Goshawan? SNR Goshawan SNR 27. Uh, New member because I've never seen you on there before. So Goshawan, in answer to your question, mate, um, probably November. So Titan House, this is probably November the 5th, there or thereabouts. Guys that we are looking at right now, yeah, Brad Grundy versus Terence Opperman would be one of those matches. We got a number of really good matches that are being made right now. We're hoping to have Mindagus Teracetis on that card. I want to get Ricardo Alba or Rodrigo Alba, excuse me, on that card. Rodrigo Alba, I've just been talking about Ricardo, so I don't advise. Different thing. Rodrigo Alba on that card as well. He's another absolute beast. If you don't know him, Spanish puller, strongest, really, really powerful. Love to get him into something there. Hopefully, Alexander Koshadze. I'd actually love to get Blumanis back involved in some stuff as well. And on the Titan House side of things, Jim Reaper, Josh Baker. We're looking at Terry Hollands. We're looking at Eddie the Beast Hall. I'm going to be speaking to Brian Shaw. I'd love Brian to come back across. We are Robert Oberst is another guy that's going to be in there. So yeah, loads of stuff coming out in between now and then for the members on Arm Wars channel. So get over there and join up the Arm Wars YouTube channel. Load of stuff coming out on there. But the Titan House first week of November. So it will probably air a couple of weeks after, in an As Live for the Iron House, and then the Titan House stuff will come out after that. And we'll have some stuff coming out live as well on there. So hopefully that answers your question there. Guys, on the private line, I will get to some of those, but I've seen a couple of them light up there, and I might do something a little separate for you guys so I can stay on the chat live on here as well. And we will cut across there in a minute. Okay. Robin, yeah, mate, I agree. Because Shads of Blue Marnus would be awesome. And if you put Rodrigo Alba into there, and I could even tickle along Rolly Ray. Rolly Ray probably won't be at this next one. He's got his mobbed off his ears, and he's been traveling around all over the goddamn place. But we're oversubscribed at the moment. We got a lot of stuff. But Brad Grundy, Terence Opperman, oh my god, I can't wait. Amazing match that is. Love it. So plus we have others to come yet that I haven't finalised. We want Tom Holland on there. We want Bogdan Stoiker on there. We got some more US pullers involved also. A couple of guys that I haven't announced yet. And guys that you may not know. And I want to make a bit of a fuss of them. So I'm not going to talk about them yet. But what I will say on the Titan House side of things, I spoke a couple of times about the talented ladies that we've got. And like Laura Baxter and so on. We got another one coming over, Sam Beliveau. My word, that girl is strong as hell. Incredibly strong, Sam. And she's coming over. She'll be over for the Rogue and will be coming to Titan House straight off the back of that. And I'll be speaking to Sam this week to sort of finalise a few bits and bobs around that as well. So, some mega stuff coming up, guys. Mega stuff coming up. I want to apologise that I've not been as active this last few weeks. As I said at the start of the show, for anybody who's just joining, I've been mobbed and swamped beyond belief this last few weeks. I will get some more stuff plugged in. We got the second part of Philip Larsson's story. If you haven't seen the first part of that, go check it out. Philip's such an interesting character. Found out a lot about him myself the other day. And what do we got? Mm, Zane Levette. how long do you think it should take before someone gets back on the table after a broken arm? Mate, really depends on a lot of factors, but it depends on how bad the break was, what were the circumstances of the break. Was it very clean? Was it pinned? Was it splintered in any way? Where was the break? A lot of things there. Also tends to have a little bit of mental scarring, mental effect. So I would always sort of play on the side of caution, take medical advice in terms of what the individual criteria relating to your specific break is. What's the best that I've seen somebody come back? I have seen people return from spiral fractures within about 7 or 8 months. Um, and start very, very slow arm wrestling. But I have seen that happen, and I've seen people come back and do very, very well. I've seen others take a little longer, and I've seen some people being pretty upset mentally by a break. So take it nice. And there's some guys that have come back from breaks and then done incredibly well. Um, Trying to give you some really good examples. Dave Chafee is one. Um, we had Clive Ferguson in the UK, broke his arm, came back strong as frick. Craig Sanders is another. John Brezink, pretty good one. So many that have had breaks and come back and been unbelievably strong. So, yeah. Spnar, Neil, have you seen arm wrestling Sears Defenders of Engin? I think it's satirical in nature, but I don't think it changed folks' opinion of you as a decent chap who was trying to stay in your lane. Mate, yeah, I've seen it. I did address it the other day. Oh, here's a weird one for you. Wow, and if anybody can advise me in the chat how this could happen, or any influencers know anything about this. So, I'm not a technical person, but I did a live. It was not a live on here, on this setup. I did it from my phone. And it was like last week. It was the day that Charlie Kirk got assassinated. And I did a live, and I was conversing with people in the chat. Finished it, switched it off. That has gone from my channel. It is not there. Or if it is, I don't know where. So if you guys can see it, you tell me where it is. I was on there for, I don't know, not long, an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Not a crazy long live, but some of you guys may have been on. I can't remember who I spoke to, but I know I did a live. I did a live for like an hour. Gone. I thought, have I done it on the wrong channel? What have I done? My brain slipped out of gear and I've done it on Arm Wars? Nope. It was on here. It's gone. What's that all about? Any other YouTubers had anything like that? Know how that works? Has that been struck off? Did I say something wrong? Don't know what's gone on there, but that video is no longer there. King's Crossing saying YouTube censoring a lot lately. Right, so basically I've been censored from my own channel is what you're suggesting, mate. I'm trying to remember what I discussed on there, but I cannot. I don't think I said anything bad. But anyway, whatever I said, I must have said something that's been censored or something. I don't know what the bloody hell that is, but yeah, it's gone. It's been taken down. But I did actually speak about the whole arm wrestling seer thing on there. My initial reaction to that, I was pissed off. I thought, what a joke. But you know what? He's doing his thing. He's doing his thing for views. Whatever. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. The people that matter, the people on the inside of that, Devon Larratt, Robert Baxter, Engin Terzi, all the people that are involved, I spoke to, and everybody else that I spoke to, and there are a number of people that know exactly what my feelings are on all of those things. Arm wrestling seer is not one of those guys. How could he be? He doesn't know me. We've never spoken. So he's going to put things across in his perspective. One thing that did make me laugh a little bit, I have to say, was that I know there was a comment there from my old mate Pradeep Singh, and he's funny, isn't he? Pradeep always thinks everything's about him. And he made a comment on one of the clips that Armwrestling Sue put on there, like saying he said something like I didn't say that, Neil, I didn't say that or something. Like it's that I because he'd made a comment on the show we did, thinking it was about him. Mate, just so you know, wasn't actually talking about you, Pradeep. It was nothing to do with you. It was to do with people that I'd been speaking to who were arm wrestlers, and they'd been going out on their channels and talking about what happened in the green room at Chicago. That's what I was referring to, not yourself, mate. You hadn't rung me. We hadn't spoken. And as far as I'm aware, I don't know whether you had or had not put anything out on that. I have no idea. But it wasn't you we were talking about. So you can chill. You can relax. You weren't being referred to. Calm down, son. Um, let's have a look in the chat if we've missed anything else. What have we missed? On the private line, let's have a look. Gorka, do you think Bacho Saganashvili is natty? I have no idea about Bacho Saganashvili's prep. Yeah, don't have a clue. Don't have a Scooby Doo. He's a young man, isn't he? He's obviously is he under 21? I think he's under 21. He's got a lot of time, so he could do a lot of things, but I don't know what his preparation is. Not, I don't want to speculate on somebody's use of performance enhancers or not when I don't really know the guy and I don't know anything about them. So Spinner there, last live showing was Philip's interview. Yes, mate, that's what I've got as well when I looked the other day. Because I'll tell you how it came up, because there was on my feed, it came up that somebody had commented and it said, oh, you haven't got back to him. So I was looking at the comment, and when I tried to look at the comment and tried to go into the video, it said cannot be accessed. And I thought, weird, it's my channel. So I went on my iPad and tried to go on there, and I couldn't see it, couldn't find it. Went on my laptop. When I got back to the UK, went on my laptop, couldn't see it on there either. And I don't know. I can't see it. So if you guys can see that show, and I'm sure I want to say like Phil was definitely on there that night because I remember seeing him on the spanner, and yeah, I thought Tim was Dungeon Master on there as well. There might have been a few of you guys in that show, number of people, and all I'm saying. And Carl Becker, I've just seen your chat come up. Some horses need to be destroyed. Yes, mate. They get badly injured sometimes in the Grand National. Broken legs, terrible injuries. It's a brutal, dangerous race. If you've never seen the Grand National or heard about it, it takes place at Aintree Racecourse in the UK, which is near Liverpool. It's a very, very hard, very brutal horse race. Some of the fences that they jump over are massive, big hurdles, and with a water jump, maybe, I don't know, 8 foot, 10 foot across and 5 foot high, 6 foot high or something. They're big jumps, and a lot of horses, maybe, I don't know, 30 horses or something start the race. It's a bloody big horse. I'm not a horse racing fan, but if you watch that, it's huge, like betting occasion every year. Takes place around April, May, sometime around there in the UK, sort of early spring, and it's a massive, massive event. 4 miles long or something, 5 miles long, massive race. Takes a couple of laps of this course called the Grand National Course. And yeah, it's brutal. Jockeys die in that thing. There's been all kinds of stuff gone down over the years. But it's an incredibly difficult race with some of the best horses in the world. And not necessarily the best horse wins. You got to get over the fences. You got to get round and navigate other horses that may fall in front of you. So some jockeys may try and hold their horse back But if you do that, you run the risk of potentially jumping one of these massive jumps, and there's a horse falling in front of you. So the point I'm making is when you've got a tournament like the WAF Worlds, which is full of unbelievable arm wrestlers, many unbelievable arm wrestlers in a field of 30, there might be 15 killers. You get in a big, long battle with one of those guys, you lose um, 20, 30% of your power in key fundamental areas. It's going to be a very, very difficult day because other people will have different experiences that day. They won't get in long battles. They'll finish people quick. So you need to create a strategy, create an approach to that competition, which is very different to the route you might take in a super match, where if you're someone who is more enduring, you might purposely draw your opponent into a long battle if you think that they're going to burn exponentially quicker than you are. And you see some guys that are specialists in that. A really good example would be someone like Michael Todd, would be someone like Relentless Frodo Hoagland, because they could go and go and go. So you might beat them a couple of times. Ray Lipinge is another example. Many times Ray has lost a pin, lost a second pin, and then he gets the brakes on, and then he starts to chip holes in people. So, yeah. Um, Different approach. Super match arm wrestling, main draw arm wrestling. Very, very difficult. And if you've been into both sports, if you've and both sports, both formats, but it is they are different sports. If you've been into both formats, you will know what I'm talking about. You will know that you can approach the thing very, very differently. Someone like Devon Larratt, you might get a pin on him early, but if he puts the brakes on you, yeah, you're going to be in a world of trouble. Um, yeah, on the private line, Toscar, excuse me. Um, Yeah, yeah, I actually spoke about that earlier, mate. Yeah, Charlie Kirk, the lady that was killed, the young Ukrainian lady that was killed on the train, a number of things, which were very dark this week and very sort of the worst of humanity in many ways. When you see everything that is not good in the world, when you see people being killed, people being murdered, people uh, trouble, problems, issues, and then you get Ricky Hatton today, another very sad occurrence. So yeah, just a lot of bad things happening this week, mate. Really, so I get that entirely, Toscara, and I get it. I know why you would be feeling like that, mate. Sometimes it's one thing after another. Not good. Not good. And as I say, I haven't been able to sort of check out the news and stuff like that, but I know I heard on the news that they got the guy that shot Charlie Kirk. I haven't caught any of the news in terms of motives or whether what the hell that was all about, or whether the guy was sane, insane. I don't know, but very dark, very sad, and for a young man to be killed, it's terrible. For him to be killed with his wife and children there, as I believe they were, horrendous, absolutely horrific. Um, Terrible situation. Anyway, let's try and move on from that because it's pretty dark, depressing stuff. Let me see. Am I caught up at this side? King's Crossing. Frodo would be cool to see in a big match again. I don't know where he's at now, though, strength-wise. You know what? The last time I spoke to Frodo, he was still pretty bust up, still pretty injured. Love that kid. I think he's great. One of my favourites of all time, Frodo Hoagland. But he has pulled brutally for so many years. He really has. Um, yeah. Sebastian Sullivan, one of my guys. Love that dude. I hope you're well, Sebastian. Talk about the viability of a small-handed pullers. How small can be successful? The honest answer to that is, mate, I'll probably need to do a longer piece on it. We'll do a set, more private piece on that. Maybe I'll do something for the Arm Wars members or something. But the reality of the situation is, it's a big hand is more dangerous because you can do more with it. Everything you can do with a small hand, you can do with a big hand, is what I'm getting at. But if you are very quick, if you are very dexterous, if you're very brave, and if you've got power in different areas, you can achieve a lot with a small hand, and you can make it so that it's more difficult for people to get purchase on you. I got a relatively small hand. I've got a thick palm, relatively short fingers, very, very strong wrist, or did have very, very strong wrist, very strong hand. If you've got those things in place, can you do something? Yes, you can. You can go on to reach a high level. You do not want to be holding on to people. You don't. Oh, just one thing as well, while we're on the old holding on to people thing. There is a misconception about holding on to people in the sport of arm wrestling. When you talk about holding on to someone, you are talking about being in a situation where your hand and wrist are being taxed at a higher rate than your opponent. Okay? That is what that refers to. It's not a sort of catch-all statement. Again, we haven't got time to discuss it now, but I will do something on that in the next few weeks to try to break that down with people a little bit more. Because I see that a lot and I hear people speaking about it a lot. Holding on to someone is when you are holding on to them and your hand is being taxed. Your hand and wrist are being taxed more than your opponent's. That is problematic. There are occasions where you have a very irregular grip and there's not really any power in there. And if your positioning is really robust, it can be advantageous for you to keep control of the match and to finish the match if you can. And I'd absolutely advocate that. So the people that have messaged me about that to break it down, I will do. I just wanted to sort of encapsulate that in a little bit of a bullet statement for you. Braun Winter. Hey, mate, I'm behind the live stream. But if I don't think the UK arm wrestling scene is growing, you're wrong. If you don't think that the UK arm wrestling scene is growing, you are wrong. I do think the UK arm wrestling scene is probably growing. As I said earlier, I think it's growing globally, mate. I don't think there's many countries in the world. And also, bro, just out of interest, mate, growing from when? Tell me from when. Um, what reference point are you drawing on that, bro? Just give us a shout, put back in the comments. Competition in Leicester had 148 pillars. Well, let me put that into perspective for you, mate. In 1993, we ran a competition in Chorley, and one weight class had 127. One weight class. There were 6 weight classes. Okay. We had 111 in another class, same day. So there's been times when arm wrestling's been very big. As I said earlier, it ebbs, it flows, it ebbs, it flows. And it usually does in relation to something which has been very catalyst to something. There's been over the top created an enormous amount of rush around the world, and that had a huge amount. So there's been times when the sport's grown and then it's dipped, and then it's grown and then it's dipped. And it's very, very easy to be just caught in the now. And this is what happens now, so it must be true, right? Not necessarily. There's been other times when the sport's been big and then it's gone away. If you look at the scale and the size and the notoriety of arm wrestling, never been as big as it is now. And the simple answer to that is because of the internet. Yes, mate, more than 100 in one weight class. Hard to believe. Well, a lot of people were there. A lot of people competed in that. In fact, a lot of the guys that were the mainstay of the UK arm wrestling were champions at that event and stayed champions for a lot of years after. So we had some very, very, very big competitions back then. We ran a thing called the Iron Arm at the Game Bird in Chorley, Lancashire. And the Iron Arm was absolutely massive. It took place, one competition, let me give you an idea. One competition took place over multiple weeks. Multiple weeks to finish it. So it would be on a Saturday night from 5 p.m. till about 11:30 midnight for like 3 weeks on the bounce, and the 4th week was the finals. A lot of the guys that came through that were champions in the UK for a very long period of time. But we're talking about the early 90s. So late 80s, early 90s, after Over the Top, sport went really big for a while. I was actively promoting some events in a very, very big way at that time. We used to travel around towns. We used to promote very, very heavily. Different time, different place. But a lot of activity creates big events, and that's what happens. So right now, it's on an upward trend, but the classes that we see in the UK at the moment aren't massive. We've seen bigger than that in the past, but the sport's popularity, the number of fans globally, bigger than it's ever been. And it will continue as long as there's a lot of activity in the sport. There's more fans of arm wrestling than there's ever been globally. So, look, I think I'm pretty caught up. Okay, it's about. I think I've been on here about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. So I'm probably going to wrap it up there, guys. Hope everybody's well. Yeah, I am definitely caught up. Guys, thanks everybody for checking out the show tonight. Sorry it's been a quick one. Sorry it was an unprepped one. Busy as a bumblebee right now. Got a lot coming up. Going to be over in Malta at the Battle of the Beasts very shortly. And that should be good. So, guys, if you are around this week, watch out for some of the deep inside stuff that's coming up. We're going to be doing a number of arm wrestlers, probably starting with 2 this week. I know we've got second part of Philip, and we'll announce some of the ones later. Until then, I want to say thank you to everybody for checking out the show. Have a tremendous week. Try and keep things positive, and until I see you next time on here, biggity bong with the fluffers. All the best.